This is off the record, not for real. This is off the record.
I literally got a comment like that a few days ago where a girl was like, I feel like you sold out, like you left news.
Someone said that to you?
And it was...
sold out is a rough way to phrase that though.
Yeah. But I thought it was interesting because I'm like, it's so interesting how people feel like you owe them. You owe them sticking to this career despite whether you like it or not, what it costs you mentally or otherwise. Like, you owe us sticking to this. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like they feel entitled
because we believed in you.
Because we believed in you.
Or like we were all rooting for you.
Because they're like, this is such a great career. Why would you leave? And it's like, why do I have to stick with something because you think it's great?
Yeah.
So it's this weird mentality of like, how dare you go on and try something that you just feel like doing just because.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think, and that's something I've been really interested in the narrative around and talking to other women about, especially young women. I'm really interested in the discussion around how empowered we do or do not feel to change our minds. Being able to change your mind.
And reinvent yourself.
Yeah. There's a million ways to look at this or talk about this. One thing I'm discovering is, where I was saying this earlier, are we more frightened of each other or of ourselves? Are we more frightened of what people will think that we changed our mind, or what's even worse and far scarier to unravel? Are we afraid of how we will feel about ourselves? Who am I if I can so quickly pivot, or not, if I can put all this time and energy into a job, a marriage, a friendship, right? And change my mind.
Yeah.
That's really scary to explore. And of course it's situation by situation. But I think this is the recurring
thing.
That's
such a good point. Yeah. It's like the audacity to change your mind, or the audacity to feel differently about something.
Does that make me? Yeah. And what does that make me?
And what does that
make me flaky? Or am I just
indecisive?
Evolving? Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, and then who the hell? And I've been saying for 6 years, I told everybody that I was going to be one thing.
Yeah.
And then either I got close or I didn't get close. And now I'm going to go over here. Yeah. What does that mean for me? What does that say about me?
I was worried that it would make me look disingenuous. Like maybe you didn't love your career as much as you said you did.
Yeah.
If you were able to walk away from it so easily.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like, to your point, I think we don't embrace the freedom to evolve and reiterate, like to embrace different iterations of ourselves.
Yeah.
So did you feel any pressure from family? I wonder. Because your mom sounds like she was totally on board.
So my mom and dad both didn't go to college. So it was a really big deal for me and my brothers too. And I realized how many choices I made because I needed to prove something to my family and to myself. And I needed to represent this thing. But to live as an ideal is no life at all. You're not an ideal or a symbol or, maybe you don't want to be your ancestors' wildest dream, although I would say all of us are. I understand though, living in those spaces is exhausting and so much pressure and so much emotion, when in reality, you're a person. You make mistakes, you change your mind again. It doesn't mean that the person you were 5 years ago who wanted those things was disingenuous or untrue. In fact, that person had to exist so that you could live now. I had to want to move to New York and have this big, colorful life and work in government work and do diplomacy and help people so that I could discover this version of myself. I still want to help people. I still want to live in New York. But there's a lot of other things that have changed. Yeah. But I think you have to change. Anyway, so I'm really interested in that discussion
that spoke to my soul.
Yeah. Not an ideal.
Because we talk about that, and I've talked about it a lot on the podcast. Like, I'm first gen. And so for me, it was like, the analogy I used was like, it was a baton race, right? Like my parents did so much to like hand this over. And now I got this baton and I have to like keep running and go as far as I can. But I never set what that meant.
Yes.
So it's like I kept going so that I could be somebody's ideal or wildest dreams or, fulfill this mission that was set way before me. And that led me to a lot of spaces that I was miserable. Yeah.
I'm thinking about how like every Disney Channel movie, they've been telling us for years.
They really have.
Dad, I don't want to run the car shop. I want to go to Princeton. And I'd be watching that like, you go to Princeton. Yeah, right? I'd be like, Troy Bolton, you better sing. You better sing. tale as old as time.
Yes.
It's not a new idea.
But
and
see,
yet it feels new to us.
I was raised by immigrant parents. They're gonna be like,
They said,
Princeton, you gonna sing? And so in my head, I was like, Troy Bolton, don't sing. Don't sing.
you were like, Troy, what are you
better
doing? Yeah. Oh my God, that's so true.